All right, so this lesson is from chapter 11 because, like I said, we're skipping chapter 10 because we did it earlier in the year because it was kind of an easier chapter, and now we're doing chapter 11. So, before we learn about angles, we need to kind of understand circles, and in order to understand a circle, you need to understand a clock, and I can explain why in a second. But essentially, when we think of degrees, you almost have to think of it as like time in a circle. So, if this was the middle of a clock, the hour hand goes this way, and so does the minute hand and the second hand. And the minute and the second hand kind of make these little, almost like triangles all the way around. So, what we're going to look at first is how to tell time, because some of you guys can't tell time. So, we're going to start that first. That's something that needs to be done immediately. So, for those of you who cannot tell time yet, there's a big hand and there's a little hand. The big hand is the minutes. The big hand is the minutes. And the short little mini hand is the hours. So, when I have something like this, my little hand, my tiny little one, is pointing at 3. He's looking at the number 3. And this one is at 12. When you have something like that, that means it's exactly 3 o'clock. And all you have to do to move 1 whole hour, or 2 whole hours, or however many hours, is move the hour hand. Now it's 5 o'clock. The 12, the big hand pointing at the 12, lets you know that it is o'clock. So there's no minutes, 0 minutes. So this is 3.00, this one's 5. 5 o'clock. All right. The last one was 3 o'clock. Now, what if we move the minute hand? Let's change the position of the big hand, the minute hand, and we're going to point him straight down. Straight down. It doesn't say 5 o'clock anymore. It says something else. Now, it's still on the 5. So, since it's still on and right after the 5, because time goes this way. So, as long as it's in between that 5 and 6, we know it's 5 something. But this one, that big hand is pointing at the 6. It's not 5:06. It's 5:30 because we've gone halfway, and an hour is 30 minutes. We're halfway from the 12 to the 6. So it went from 5 o'clock to 5:30. Now let's talk about the ones in between. Let's say I don't want it to be 5:30. Let's say I want it to be 5:15. Big hand points to the 3. We've gone 15 minutes. So now this one is 5:15. And if we want 5:45, it goes the opposite way. And it points towards the 9. So now it's 5:45. But Miss H, where are you getting these numbers? You've assigned like these random numbers. We have 0, 15, 30, and 45. We have these 15-minute intervals. You've somehow randomly assigned these numbers, and I'm really not understanding where you're getting the 30, the 45. Okay, well, that's actually a pretty good question. So, in order to read a clock, you need to be able to skip count by 5s. So, what does that mean? Well, if we're starting at the 12, because we always start at the 12, and we count forward, so there's no 13 unless you're doing military time or some other time. So, let's start from the 12 and we go to 1. And you go all the way around clockwise, all the way around, all the way around. And whoops. There we go. All the way around, and we get back to 12, and then we go again clockwise, all the way around, from 12 to 1 to 2 to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. 0 to 15, we gotta skip count by 5s to get to. So the minute hand goes 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So this is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, that's a 5, and this is 60. 60 is an hour, so we never say it's 5:60 o'clock. We say the next hour. So there's 60 total minutes, because there's 60 minutes in an hour. So I'm going to put the 60 in like 60 because there's 60 total minutes, but we don't say 60. So when we're telling the time, we're looking at where that hour hand is, if I could properly use this, and I'll actually use a different color just so that it's not confusing. We're looking at where the hour hand is. The hour hand is the first thing we look at, the little hand. We want the little hand. So if it's facing right in between 9 and 10, it's pointing right between 9 and 10. I know it's not 8 o'clock, but it's 9 o'clock. If the little hand is between 6 and 7, because it's not usually going to be right on the 6, oh, it's between 6 and 7, it must be not 5 o'clock. We always start with the number that's smaller. It must be up 6 o'clock, because you want to bring your finger from the 5 just before the little hand. Oh, it's not quite 5 o'clock. Up, it's right in the middle of 6 o'clock because we didn't get to the 7 yet. So it must be 6. Okay, but where's our minute hand? All right, well, to find that long hand, see, I got my big hand right at the top. I got to count by 5s. All right, well, it's not 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. It is 6:55. And I'm going to post another video from probably Khan Academy or another website that tells you again how to work through time. But I wanted to post this video first just because everything is going to be based on clocks. Now remember, we go clockwise. We follow the numbers in order. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I told you to go counterclockwise, you go the opposite way. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. We don't count that way. We count clockwise, counterclockwise. So the reason I posted this first video is so that you understand how to tell time. If you can't tell time, this lesson is going to be a lot harder. Watch the other video I post so that you can, like the Khan Academy one, so that if mine wasn't clear, you can watch somebody else's. I know that usually 4th grade, I think you've already gone over how to tell time, but this is just a little refresher for those of you that forgot. So in the next videos, I'm going to start on lesson 11.1.